Hello, this is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling. Beloved family, we are starting the second semester of this cycle. The month of July opens with an energy that to me feels a bit tender, to be honest. It reminds me of the importance of giving ourselves what we need, checking in with ourselves, and at the same time allowing this embrace, this comfort of the mother, of divine mother in her human and non-human expressions, the embrace of nature, of water, of the sky, of the rain, and also our families, our communities, our loved ones. Because to be honest, moving forward in the energy of this month, we will have some big movements, like it looks like big waves, or even Mama Earth shaking herself a little bit. So that's why I opened the invitation in this first week of July to go into a more receptive, restorative place, allowing this embrace that heals, that comforts, from you, from you to others, and from the all to your own heart. Cancer is a school that stewards family, that stewards home, is a place that we go back to. Now, the place that we go back to, even though we are not the same now. So, to me, this sky seems like an invitation to go back, to say goodbye in a way, because there is a new home, maybe internal, maybe even external new home that's already calling to us. We can feel it. We can, with our intuition, we can sense this new home. And there's also a learning to go back to the origin from a new place. Memory, childhood, the history of the mothers, the belonging, intimacy, emotional security, knowing that we are safe, knowing that we are welcome just the way we are. This is the energy of Cancer for me. And this week we have a very sensitive and profound new moon in Cancer. It's on the 5th of July or the 6th of July in some places. So before I go into that new moon fertility, let me just say some events, astrological events that we will have prior, but that are part of the whole weather of this new moon. So Saturn in Pisces is going to start its retrogradation movement on the 30th, and then on the 2nd of July we have Neptune in Pisces doing the same. This is going to give us like a weather of retrograde energy throughout this season. It's an invitation to revisit, to recover, to reclaim and to retrieve energy, knowledge. And it's an invitation to just go inside, and it's a cleansing of the waters. It sounds like a purifying our emotional bodies, our astral realms. And also there's an ending, a dissolving of a process. Maybe it's also about retrieving some wisdom from the origin, some cosmic memory, through allowing ourselves to enter this realm of the dream world. And it has an initiation kind of flavor to me, like a rite of passage, to be honest, with the liminality that this implies, while we dissolve all the illusions and we start dreaming the new dream, collective, personally, so we can give it birth in this 0 degree of Aries by 2025 and 2026. So through ceremony and gratitude, we are saying goodbye in a way. So this new moon has a flavor to me, like when you visit maybe the house where you were raised, or your grandparents' house, and you remember that so big, like a mansion, and then when you are there you see it's quite different. Now it's perhaps a lot smaller than you remembered. May you honor the beauty of this memory, but also understand that this is not the place to come back to anymore, because we are to build new spaces of belonging, of security, of connection, of nurturance and love. Also, Lilith just entered Libra, which is a place where we have the South Node, and this clamor of a retrieval of the wild feminine nature. And this is going to be very emphasized throughout the whole month. Mercury will go into Leo this week as well, and as soon as he's there, he's going to make an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. That's the disclosure, unveiling of mysteries. It's also, we illuminate something through our voices. And to me, it's like it shows us where the energy was being limited by a very narrow perspective through the story of the ego, and it transforms our vision. The thing is, the first sensation with Pluto is powerlessness. So we can actually enter the retrieval of genuine power, of creative expression, by decolonizing our minds. No, so all of this is already a part of the energy of this new moon. The new moon is in the 14th degree of Cancer. It happens between two full moons in Capricorn that are also culminating a cycle where some structures are collapsing in a way, so we can recreate this new home through the values and visions that will actually nurture this dream. Yes? This new moon feels like a very wide river in a way. It has very fluid energy. So there is these dialogues to Saturn and to Neptune in Pisces, which to me are like this comfort energy, like this lullaby energy. That's what I meant. It's about like letting ourselves be cleansed by the tenderness and the caresses of the rain, like entering the silence of the ocean, like crying. It's really about trusting our intuition and just feeling, having the maturity to allow ourselves to feel while regulating ourselves, navigating this inner cosmos and our own tides. It's about mothering ourselves as well, so giving us what we need. So that's why my invitation is to ask ourselves now, what do I need here and now to feel safe, to feel radiant, to feel creative? Because before we give ourselves into nurturing the needs of the community, of the family, even of the world. And this is something we can feel through Cancer energy. That's the beauty of this empathic capacity in Cancer. First, we ought to give ourselves what we need. And this is the actual wild energy of the feminine impulse. It's the self-regulating, self-regulating and sovereignty that keeps us in service to life without losing ourselves in the service as mothers, as partners, as whatever. It's about stopping, like, instead of defining our identity through what we do to nurture what others need, it's about owning our value and defining ourselves through that. So it's not about doing, really, it's about being. And this new moon, in a way, it's a stillness moment. And when we become still, we can actually feel the truth of our waters, of our home. So the moon and the sun are next to Venus in Cancer. So this is a seed of love. The relationship area will become the center of our attention again. We are relationship in truth. And Venus here is holding dialogues to Saturn, to Neptune in Pisces. It's like transcending the idealization of love, so we can actually respond through our energy, our commitments, and our dreams with a much mature energy. Venus is also starting to weave this dialogue to Urano. So there is a revolutionary energy in this seed that is calling to the breaking of patterns, the cutting of stories that bind us to the past. So we are to honor this, but also it's a moment to let go. Next week, this is a little ahead of it. I just want you to see that Venus is actually talking to all of the transpersonal planets. So it's a big thing in terms of relationships. She's going to enter Leo. She's going to oppose Pluto. And this is like an open heart in front of transformation, right? So for this week, Venus and Mars are talking. These are the cosmic lovers, right? This is relationship. And they are talking in harmony through a sextile, which is an invitation, an agreement to manifest this new love story through new forms of relating that actually restore balance, restore reciprocity, beauty, and that are meant to do it radically different. See, so it's important that we clarify what we need in relationship, because there is like this creative agreement wanting to be, and it requires honesty, compassion, and also a lot of openness and curiosity and courage as well. I do want to mention that Mars is coming into a conjunction with Urano. This is further down the month, but this moment, this seed already announces a transcendental, non-return change, right? Because the energy of Mars and Urano, I'll talk about this probably next week, but it's quite volcanic. It's quite eruptive, like dynamite. No? So this is a little ahead, yet the seed is telling us that we are into entering this completely new territory. So for this moment, for this little window of time this week, I do listen tenderness, a softening into our waters, into listening what the non-visible realms are whispering to us, into taking refuge in our own sanctuary and altars, and to give ourselves what we need. Now, there is a seed that wants to be planted. The thing is, this planting of the seed will not be in familiar territory. This is planted in a new earth. There's also something quite interesting. There is a cardinal cross where the planets in Cancer are speaking to the axis of the nodes. We have Lilith in the south node in Libra, and we have in Aries another beautiful character, quite magical, called Salacia. And this is activating this karmic story about culminations, like karmic closures, and also the opening of destiny to new adventures. There is like an incoming light that opens consciousness and new paths. And the opposition will, from this cardinal cross, has to do with Ceres, which is Demeter. It's also a goddess in Capricorn. So there is this clamor of the wild feminine energy, feminine nature. It's a retrieval of the strength, the power, and the ancestral wisdom of feminine energy, living conformity, accommodation, compliance, and sacrifice. So we can actually assume the ownership, the agency of our own energy, so we can express it through essential authenticity. This is the clamor and the calling of the mothers of origin, the ones that hid their voices in the depth of all this mythology, but they emerge breaking the coraza, like breaking the barriers of the patriarchal narrative, so we can retrieve their energy in our bodies and also in our culture. This is sacred power, really. Sacred power as the taking care of our own energy, vitality, and joy as well. And taking this love for life and this love for earth with ferocity and with tenderness in perfect balance. So what part of you needs to be felt and needs to be freed in order for you to connect to this wild energy through in a healthy way? Because it's not about a crazy energy like they told us. It's actually about sovereignty, about agency, and it requires impeccable presence and self-regulation. This new home is built with this energy, and it begins by feeling you and giving you what you need. If we listen to our hearts now, we will also know what is needed, so we can create a new culture, a culture that has at the center the hearts of the mothers, where everyone belongs, where everyone is taken care of, nurtured, and loved. Yes, this is the energy for this full moon. I'm sorry, for this new moon. So I wish you a loving, tender seed of this new and yet ancestral home where everyone belongs, where we have the space to be who we are, where we can be received in this nest of an embrace, and we can become this nest of an embrace for the family life that we are with all creation. Thank you. Blessings.